Hi there, I'm Mike Creevy for Homeschool Connections, and with me today is Catherine Godlewsky. Catherine, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me, Mike.
Well, and we've got you currently stateside, but you do hail largely from Ireland of late. So I was happy to get linked up with you here to talk a little bit about, first of all, your background, if you want to share anything in particular, and especially how you came to Homeschool Connections.
Sure. Well, those questions are all kind of interlinked. I was homeschooled myself, so I was homeschooled all the way from kindergarten through 12th grade. Then I went to university in New Jersey, which is where my family's from. And after that is kind of where Homeschool Connections started entering my life, a kind of a roundabout way, I suppose you could say. But I entered first as a member of staff. So through our parish, I knew some other people who worked on the Homeschool Connection staff. They were really great. And when I began my doctorate, which is why I'm currently living in Ireland, because that is where I'm doing my doctoral studies, I reached out to them and said, "Hey, can I work for you?" And they said yes. So that is why I'm now a Homeschool Connections teacher. I'm also a member of staff, so people can hear from me lots of different ways through HSC.
Oh, very cool. And what kinds of courses do you teach specifically with Homeschool Connections?
I teach a range of courses, and it's probably going to change a lot more. So, right now, I'm involved mostly with our test prep courses. So, that's something that I've taught for, well, I don't know, about 5 years in other places and other ways. But with Homeschool Connections, we're kind of revamping, if you will,
Mhm.
our test prep program. So, we're starting with the SAT. So, those are the classes that I'm working on right now. Um, I'm doing the English side because that's my area of expertise. And one of our
Sure.
math teachers is tag teaming with me to teach the math section. So I'm very involved with that. I help with the curriculum development for that. And this summer, I'm also teaching a kind of fun, exciting course, which is middle school typing camp. So if
Okay.
anyone wants to learn how to touch type, we're going over that too. So I teach a bunch of different things.
Very cool. And is there anything in particular, with a range like that, I'm sure there's a lot of variety, but is there anything in particular that you really enjoy or something that you try to do within uh, all of your classes, or at least some of them that's particularly unique or fun?
Yeah, well, I think unique and fun is what I aim for. Um, so what I like to do is I like to approach the topic, and I tend to get topics that most people think are quite boring, or topics that people aren't as excited for, like preparing for an exam. That's not usually anyone's favorite thing. But what I like to do is not only find fun and unique ways for us to practice the skills that we need together. So, for
Sure.
example, I'll pick one from my typing class because that's top
Hmm.
in my mind. We're preparing for it now. We're actually going to color code all the learning about typing. So your fingers are all going to have a color. You can draw on them with markers. Then you can map
Oh,
out
okay.
the keyboard, draw on that with a marker as well. Not your parents' actual keyboard, a paper printout. Don't worry, parents. And
Disclaimer.
so,
Yeah.
just a disclaimer, it's just so that we can engage in very different areas of learning, right? So, I'm trying to approach learning from as many different pathways as I possibly can. And that's something for as simple as middle school typing, where we're bringing in something really tactile, something really visual. And the same goes for the SAT. So, I encourage students to mark up the page in creative ways. I encourage students to think about the approach to texts in different and creative ways. Now, another caveat here, all of this is going to change as tests go more digital. So that's
Mm,
something that I'm really working to incorporate into my courses going forward is how we can maintain a super interactive method of study for an exam that may become less and less interactive over time.
hmm.
So that's what people can
Wow.
expect.
Well, and I was just thinking, um, it's so funny when you said about like the topics that might seem boring to some. It wasn't, I think Chesterton said something about, if there's no uninteresting topics, just uninterested people, or
True.
something to that effect. So,
No,
yeah, I
one of
mean, it,
my teachers always said that your education experience is a mirror. If you think it's boring, it's probably just you. You're the boring
uh,
one.
my
So
mom always taught me something like that too. It's like,
it's
get
just all the
invested in it.
wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so it's so cool. Like, how do you go about? I mean, do you just basically there's such a variety here. You just propose different ideas essentially. To bring forth in courses and stuff like that. Do you find it a very open environment here at Homeschool Connections to be able to try out
Oh,
some new stuff and new
definitely.
ideas?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're very open to new ideas. But I think the other thing is because I'm a bit unique in that I'm both a teacher and a member of staff. I
Mm.
kind of get an inside view as to what we need. So a lot of the courses I'm
Oh,
teaching are
sure.
courses that aren't offered by other teachers within Homeschool Connections. So I'm looking at things from the back end. I take a look at our catalog. I'm helping to make sure our website is updated. So I'm constantly in the courses. I know quite a lot
Yeah.
about what we offer because that's my other part of my job. So as I'm looking through, I sometimes get ideas for what we could use in our curriculum. So that's where the
Sure.
typing class came in, for example. One of the parents was chatting to one of our customer service support agents, and they were sharing that they would like a little bit more in the middle school computer range. She was
Mm.
chatting to me. That's how we have the idea for this course. So it's very
Wow.
responsive to what parents need.
Sure. Yeah, and that's such a good point. I think, it, sometimes we don't know what we need, right? Until
Yeah.
it's just it pops up, and then it's nice to have that access, so to speak, right? You're right there to be able to bring those forward. So that's so cool. Is there anything else that I mean that you'd want to share as far as just even your own interest, your own background, just as people are maybe browsing around and considering taking some sort of course with you? What's something you might want students or parents to maybe know that might be something that doesn't immediately pop off the page on your bio there?
Well, I think the interesting thing is that I teach so many different types of courses. So, because of that, I'm always trying to bring connections between things that might not look connected, right? So, in our SAT class, I'll often talk about different types of literature. We're going to try and tie this into broader historical contexts, especially about some of the historical texts used on the SAT. So, it's something that you might not kind of expect, but because I think my background is a little bit unorthodox sometimes because I'm often teaching to a need as
Hmm.
opposed to merely out of my own background, which is in English. My doctorate right now is in critical writing and poetry. So I kind of have a big mix of that in my background. And I think
Sure.
it helps me to, yeah, make a little unexpected connections here and there. So I'm always open to new ideas. I love when my students tell me something unexpected or exciting that I can then incorporate into our class.
Sure. Well, wonderful. Well, it sounds exciting. The more I talk to the Homeschool Connections teachers, the more I'm trying to find some sort of loophole so I can take classes too. Um, so, well, thank you so much, though, here for stopping by today, Catherine. Is there anything else that people should know as far as how to reach you or any other resources you want to put out there?
Yes, well, you can always reach me through my Homeschool Connections email, which is cgodlewsky at homeschoolconnections.com. It is on the website as well, because as I said, I'm working for the staff. So I'm pretty easy to
Sure.
get in contact with that way. You can either check the registration page to grab my email off there, or you can contact our main email, and that can often be forwarded to me as well. So I do encourage
Great.
people to reach out, even if they're reaching out with an idea or a question, something they'd like
Right.
to see, because I do like hearing from parents and students as often as I can. And I'm also on the
Wonderful.
cafe for students who are on the
Oh,
cafe.
okay.
Yeah,
Very
I
cool.
was doing this little game where it was like, "Where is Prof G today?" Because
Nice.
I travel quite a lot, so I have to get
Sure.
back to my contact there.
You can make it like a "Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego" kind of kind
It's
of
pretty much
thing.
the idea, except it's just me.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Catherine, for stopping by today and for telling us about your Homeschool Connections courses.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Sure. God bless you.
God bless.